back to the 23rd episode of the Knitting Diaries. My name is Inga Rós and I am your host, and I just wanted to thank you for spending a little bit of time with me, and I hope you'll do it again sometime soon. If you want to follow me on social media, I am most active on Instagram, and you can look me up there. I am Jan from the Shire, and I did have another account, but I'm mostly active on just that one, in Jan from the Shire. Today in Iceland is Öskudagur. It is March 6th, and today is Öskudagur, and that is the third day in a really binge eating days in Iceland. It starts with Monday, which was Bolludagur or Bun Day, and that's where people eat all kinds of buns or balls, meatballs, fish balls, and it's a really busy day in bakeries and for bakers all around the country, because everyone is making, it's called vatnsdeigsbollur. I don't know what it is called in English, but it's mostly a dough made from water, so it's very light and airy, and when the bun bakes, it gets hollow on the inside, and people put whipped cream and jam in there, and on top we put chocolate or some other kind of cream on top. And this is a very popular thing, and we have all kinds of buns. We have vegan buns and keto buns and whatever it's called. But I made buns for us on Sunday, because everyone is working on a Monday, and it's school day, and nobody's home even. So we made buns on Sunday. It didn't look like the picture, but it tasted good, and the boys loved it. So I haven't made buns in many years. The next day is Sprengidagur or Explosion Day, where we eat salted meat and pea soup, separately or together. And I swear people eat pea soup on this day in gallons. It's huge and it's very popular, and everyone is serving salted meat and pea soup for dinner that day. And today is Öskudagur or Ass Day. When I was a kid, we used to make so-called öskupokar or ass bags, with just a little simple, maybe this big, simply sewn bag with which we put maybe a little bit of rice or just sand in them. And the goal of this day was to go out into stores or go out into town and hang these little bags on people without them knowing. And if you could hang a bag on a person and they didn't know it, that was just that was a big thing. You didn't get anything, but just the satisfaction of hanging something on someone without them knowing. But today, this day is mostly about kids. There is no school today, or at least not in Eilstær. So I wouldn't say no school. They start by going to school, and every class has a friend class. So they meet up with their friend class, and then they go to the sports center, and there is a festivities for them there. For the younger kids, the older kids can just go home if they want to. But the younger kids go to the sports center, and they play games and fool around in their costumes for some time. And then they go into town and go from business to business, and they sing songs that they have been practicing, or they should have been practicing. And in return for the songs, the business owners, whatever that business is, gives them candy. So that is the last day of this binge eating days in Iceland. Those 3 days, but these days are usually a lot of fun and spent with family. So, yeah, I told you last time that since I was recently back from a long break, that I would get into my backstory a little bit, both with my family and with my knitting. So to start with my family, I live in Egilsstaðir, which is a small town in East Iceland, and I'm going to show you a map of Iceland because I remember someone commenting on an earlier episode from me that she had looked up Egilsstaðir on Google Maps and it seemed to be in the middle of nowhere. So I'm going to show you a map. But every town in Iceland seems to be in the middle of nowhere. It's not a big country, but it's very mountainy and deep valleys, and usually the villages are just around the coastline. There are not many villages, or just no space for them in the highland because there are just mountains and glaciers and deep valleys and stuff like that. So that's why the country was built mostly just around the coastline of the country. In Egilsstaðir, I live with my husband and our 2.5 boys, if I can say that. I have Unnar, which is my oldest, who was about to turn 16. He in April. I have him from a previous relationship, so he's not my husband's son, but he lives with us week by week basis. So his father also lives in Egilsstaðir with his family, his wife and their 3 boys. So Unnar has 5 brothers. Yeah, he's a little bit busy. But yeah, his father also lives in Egilsstaðir with his wife and his family. And he stays 1 week with us and then goes to his father and stays 1 week with him. And this has been going on since Unnar was about maybe 3. Yeah, I think so. And he loves this. He used to, when he was younger, he used to keep us in check. So we wanted him to go to some family gathering and we took him from his father maybe a day earlier. He always took care of that. He would then go back to his father a day earlier too. So he would always split his time equally between us. And he still does. He's about to turn 16, but he loves this arrangement. So so long as he does, we won't be changing anything. My middle boy is 9 and his name is August Ægir, and then the baby is about to turn 5 in a couple of weeks and his name is Hjörtur Hrafn. My parents also live in this town, and 2 of my sisters, I have 3 sisters, 2 of them live here with their families and 1 lives in Reykjavik. Almost all of my extended family lives in town or on the farms around town. So all of my mother's siblings live here, and my dad's too. And not all of their children, but a lot. So Egilsstaðir is basically my family. Egilsstaðir has a population about 3,600 people, and that is including the farms around the actual town. So it's not a lot of people. I think there's about 3,000 in the town itself. Yeah, so my family is here with me, and it's great because I like having my family around. This takes 5 minutes to go to my mom's or my sister's or whatever. My husband's family is also a big part of this town, and his dad lives here still, and his brother and his wife are sheep farmers in the country. So it takes me about 20 minutes to drive up to there, and there I can get my sheep fix. Because I really love to go and take part of when the lambing season is, and when they are gathering the sheep up from the mountains in the fall. So I love that I am able to do that without no trouble at all, really. But to my knitting background. In Iceland, everyone is taught to knit from the first grade when you are 6 years old. When you're 6 years old, you get a project age appropriately, or age appropriate, so you won't get complicated. But you do learn how to cast on and knit and purl, as I think that is the basic of their teaching in first grade. But as they get older, the work progresses. And I remember, I think my oldest Unnar was 12 when he came home with a hat that he was supposed to be knitting, and that was a color work. So he had to knit himself a hat with 2 colors band around some pattern that he chose, and he loved that. I haven't seen him knitting anything else, but he loved doing that. He was quite good at it. But yeah, so every kid, boy or girl, learns how to knit and other textiles, sewing and crocheting and cross stitching and other kinds of stitching and other kinds of textiles. And every kid also goes to woodwork class and art class and some kind of cooking class, baking or cooking food. So, and I love that. Friends of mine who have lived abroad, speak to that they miss this in Icelandic schools when they go abroad with their kids, and there is no teaching like this, along with, of course, languages and math and stuff like that. And I think this is really important to teach kids. I mean, they don't all get highly motivated to knit, but they all do learn the basics, so they can get by. So that's how I learned. And of course my mom is an amazing knitter. She always has some knitting with her, and she has made us, my sisters and I, many garments over the year, and of course our children and everything. She never goes anywhere without her knitting, and yeah, you don't see her a lot without her knitting, and she is amazing. So those 2 factors were probably the biggest thing that taught me how to knit when I was a kid. But since then, and since YouTube, I've learned a lot since I started using Ravelry around, I think 2009, when I was pregnant with August. I first started knitting, I think for real, when I was pregnant with August, my middle child, in 2009. But when Unnar was born in 2003, I did make him, and I tried to find it, but I couldn't. I did make him a so-called heimfarasett, which is a custom in Iceland and probably other countries too, but it's a tiny sweater, and usually a hat and mittens, sometimes even socks and pants too, for the baby, a boy or a girl, to go home in from the hospital when he is born. So usually, at least, and each child gets a new heimferðarsett, which is just a going home set when we are born. And I couldn't find the one that I made for Unnar, but this is one that my mom made, and yes, it's getting a little bit worn, but this is the one that my mom made for August when he was born. So it was a little hat and this cute little sweater, which has some stains on it, and mittens. And I used that when Hjörtur was born too. I didn't make him a special set. I know, I'm a horrible mother. But this is a custom in Iceland, and it's a very popular thing for grandmothers to knit for a new baby when it's born. So I knit under that when he was born, and a blanket, I think. And then I took a break for many years and didn't knit anything for a long time. But when August was born, I got introduced to Ravelry, and then the whole world opened up to me, and I learned a lot of new things, and that actually made knitting just very exciting and fun. And even more so when Hjörtur was born 5 years ago. Since then, I have always had some kind of a work in progress on the needles. Sometimes it's just a socks or a hat or something like that, but I've always had something at least. And now I usually have 2 whips going. Usually some socks or a hat, some little thing that I can take with me when I'm doing something outside of the house. And I always take it with me, but I don't always take it up and knit in it. I always have it with me on school functions and when I go and visit friends and stuff like that, but I always have it there. But I don't knit, and I just evaluate the circumstances, and sometimes there are circumstances that I do feel comfortable knitting in, and sometimes they're not, so they just stay in the bag. Yeah, I think that is it about my background in knitting. If you have any questions, you can send me a DM on Instagram or comment below on my YouTube, or send me. I do have a group on Ravelry that I haven't quite revived yet, that I had for the podcast before I left. Maybe I will just put a thread. Yeah, I will put a thread in there. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask if you have any questions about anything, mostly. I told you last time that I was going to show you some projects that I had been working on, and many of them have been gifted away. So I have a couple of them with me, and this one is one of my favorites. The pattern is called Vårlilja, and I will put the information below. And you will see ends, but it has been blocked and it has been sewn in, but I don't know why it is. I never cut off the ends. But you start with this, and it has a built-in I-cord along this edge, along all edges really. And you start with a cable, this cable, but the cable is reversible, and it is so gorgeous, and it's so fun to knit too. So this is the pattern, and it's in English. I checked, by Auður Björt Skúladóttir, and she is on Ravelry. And go check it out. This one is called Glópavor, or I think it will be Fool's Spring. I think it's Fool's Spring in English, because last year there really wasn't spring or summer for that matter in Reykjavik, and they just got rain and wind and fog for months and months and months. And this designer, which is called Hildur Ýr Ísberg, lives in Reykjavik, and she named this pattern Fool's Spring, and I just call it the pink one because this is so pink. I'm not really a pink person, but it's better to have a pink shawl than to want it. But it's a beautiful design. And I remember I was on a knitting retreat when I knit this, and I almost finished it in one weekend. But it's gorgeous. And this is on one of my favorite bases. It's my cashmere base. It's so soft and plumpy. So this was Fool's Spring. I always meant to say Fool's Gold. And then I did make an exploration station by Stephen West. And again, the ends haven't been cut, but the shawl has been, there are woven in, but I haven't blocked it yet. So this is my exploration station. And this is on my Vinca base, which is 100% pure superwash wool, merino wool. And I love this. And maybe next time I will talk to you a little bit about my dyeing business and how I got started in that. This one is called Spindrift, and it's a little it's like a shawlette. It's not really a shawl, but it's really beautiful and simple and fun. And this colorway is called Betri helmingurinn, or My Better Half. And I made this colorway for my husband on his birthday last year, I think, because yellow and black is his favorite color. So this was for him, that colorway, for the name of it at least. This one, I don't remember the pattern name, Berlin something, and it's a free pattern by Hóki Lókatellía. I will put all the information below. And this colorway is called Johanna, which was the name of my mother-in-law who died. My mother-in-law. And these are just all her earthy colors that she loved. What I am working on right now is my bubble sweater by Stephen West. And this is on my DK base on Vinca, so it's 100% superwash merino wool. And it's a top-down sweater with a folded brim, and then these fun bubbles on the yoke. And I am down to splitting for the sleeves, but I haven't been knitting on it too much recently because I have just other projects going on and other stuff going on. But it is ready for splitting for the sleeves, and I will get around to that very soon. But I really like it so far. And the bubbles were very easy. I don't want to give the pattern away or anything, but these are made on a really easy way. So it's not hard at all. And last time I showed you a yarn that I was going to be casting on for my niece for her birthday. I haven't quite finished them, but I am about to start this toe decreases. And this was a yarn by Cat's Kettle, and I said last time that I wasn't sure she was still around or dying still, and she's not, which is sad because her yarns were beautiful. But I don't know her situation or why she left, so we will just respect her wishes about that. But the yarn is gorgeous, and don't you think these would look good in a 10-year-old girl for socks? And I always do the Fish Lips Kiss Heel. I love it. It's so simple. I remember it, and I don't get any holes here. So, and I think it fits really well. So I'm about to start the toe decreases for these, so these will be finished the next time I talk to you. If not, I am slacking around and doing something I shouldn't be doing. One more thing that I wanted to show you that I knit in the past few months. I made my friend a lopapeysa, and I'm going to show you the pattern just. So this is the pattern from Lopi 38, which is a book that Eastex gives or publishes once a year, this Lopi pattern books. And this one is number 38. And of course it's all in English, and this is the plain version. But I made my friend, who loves orange, she is orange everything. And I dyed up just some regular léttlopi white Leatherby in an orange great yet set. And I made her this pizza. She came, my mom and I were doing a Christmas market. She came to our booth, and my mom had already had ready-made wool sweaters in our booth, and she was complaining then. She didn't have a proper wool sweater, and nobody made her anything, that just made her something for her kids and stuff like that. And she didn't mean it, but I thought, maybe I will just knit her a wool sweater. And I did, and I gifted her that a couple of months ago, and she absolutely loved it. She was so happy, and that made me happy. So I love doing things like that. Surprising people. They say something, maybe just joking around, but kind of not. And I love doing stuff like that. And so just look how happy she is. Yeah, both of my works in progress that I haven't really been working on, because I am making one of those heimfara set, but I can't show it to you just now, because it's kind of a secret. So I'm not pregnant. I'm not, but one of my friends is, and she doesn't have one of these sets, and so I am making it for her, but I will at least post a picture next time, because hopefully it will be on her way to her by then. Yeah, I think that's about it for me. Family stuff, maybe I will do. Do you want me to do kind of life segment in the end? Since I talked to you last time, Hjörtur and I went to a really fun birthday party for his friend. He was turning 5, and his family is big on horses, and they keep horses in stables just outside of town. And Hjörtur and I went to a birthday party, and it was held in the stables, so the kids got to feed the horses some hay and go horseback riding, and he absolutely loved it. I was talking to him in the car on the way there, and he wasn't really too excited about going on a horseback, but they didn't exclude it. And when we came to the party and everyone was going, he also obviously wanted to go too, and he loved it. He got to go again 2 times, and it was a really fun party. Other than that, I haven't been dying a lot this past week. Yeah, because I've been trying to design something, a shawl. I'm designing a shawl. I have a newfound respect for designers, because it's a lot harder than it looks. Or maybe it's just because it's my first time and I've never done this before. I've adjusted patterns and added little things to patterns that I've been knitting on or stuff like that, but that is not the same, guys. So not the same. And hopefully I will be doing more of these, because I have some ideas, a lot of ideas, but some of them don't look good in yarn as they do in my head. But I'm almost finished with the first pattern, and I'm quite happy with it. And I hope you will be too. I posted this on Instagram a couple of days ago, and I said that maybe soon I will be calling for some test knitters, and I would love to have some test knitters for the English version, because I am going to publish it in Icelandic and English on the same day. Yeah. So if you are interested, send me a DM on Instagram. It won't be, I don't know, when it will be ready. But sometime soon, not too far away at least. But for now, I am going to sign off, and I hope you like the show. I have no idea. No. But for now, I am going to sign off, and hope you have a nice day and a nice time until I see you again. Bye.